Hey everyone, Caleb with the Antique Book Collective, and today I'm going to walk you guys through how to ship out your books when you sell them. So I'm doing this video right now because I literally just sold a book. This book is one that I've had listed for maybe a little over a month or so. I've sent out a lot of offers to a lot of people, and I haven't gotten it to sell. I know that I was selling this book for a little more than other people were, but I knew that it had a value and I knew that it was going to sell. At the end of the day, I ended up accepting an offer for $9.99 less than what I had it for. So this book, it was listed at $39.99. So I sold it for $30. That was the offer I had been sending out to people, so I was actually sort of surprised when someone sent me an offer for the exact thing that I was sending it out to everyone else for. So I accepted it. I was like, all right, that's exactly what I want, so I'm happy. So once again, I'm going to walk you guys through how to ship and how I like to ship my books particularly. So at that, I'm going to end this little section and we're going to hop into a screen share. Alright, so I am on my eBay dashboard right now. As you can see right here, I have the ship it section. I've sold one book today, and as such, you can check out the book listing right here. So it's the 1965 Lord of the Rings, 2nd edition. So pretty cool book. I was very happy with it. As you can see in the little picture there, it's got this purple little thing on the front cover. It's got the dust jacket. It's got the actual thing. Dust jacket does have some wear and tear. Nothing too exciting. But what I think was really cool about this whole book was the embossing purple thing on the front. That was really cool looking. And on top of that, Lord of the Rings is just really popular. So I knew this book was going to sell eventually. And sure enough, it did. This book I bought for $2.29 at the Goodwill outlet nearest me, so it was a pretty good find. Of course, I didn't sell it for the $40 I was asking for, but $30 is a pretty good profit margin for me. So there's this sort of thing. Here's the buyer's name. I'm going to obviously blur out the buyer's name for when this happens, but buyer's name is in the right-hand corner right above the print shipping label. So I'm just going to hit print shipping label, and it'll take you straight on over to where you do all the stuff for the shipping label. So when you create your listing, you're going to put in the information for the weight that it's going to be and the dimensions of the box. However, if there's a mistake, if you run out of that box, if you end up putting more packaging in, if anything happens, you can always change the numbers of the weight and that sort of stuff. However, you won't be able to change how much you're charging the buyer because they already paid, but that's just what we're going to be looking at. So for me, I do custom size. My weight for this book, I already weighed it. It's 2 pounds for when it's in the box. Dimensions are 2 inches, 7 inches, 10 inches, which are the dimensions of the box that I put it in, the indie box that I've mentioned in other videos. So with all that said and done, I am going to hop on over and in the screen share and show you guys sort of what I do. Alright, so as you can see in the picture I'm sharing right now, I lay out the book first on top of the butcher paper that I'm going to cut out to cover the book with. So the reason why I lay it on the paper first is so I can sort of guesstimate about how much paper I need to wrap the book with. There is no harm in doing a little more paper than what is required. Personally, I prefer doing that because it's more protection for the book. Why do I wrap them in butcher paper? I like it because it's sort of like how books used to be done. It's the antique book feel. And actually, I have talked to a lot of book people. There are groups on Facebook. One of them that I love is Bookaholics group on Facebook. And I'm on that one. And one day there was someone that's sharing a story about, oh yeah, I got these books from this one place and they wrap it in butcher paper. It's the coolest thing ever. I mean, it makes me feel so cool. And I was like, hey, I do that too. And the person was like, oh, no way, that's the coolest thing. And they're like, can I buy some books from you? I'm like, oh, sure. So people do really like it when you wrap the books. I mean, it's protective, but it also is just, it has a feel. It has a feel of panache. It makes you feel like you are taking part of history. So I wrap the books. When I wrap them, be sure you do not tape on the book. People have done that. It's the worst thing ever. You are selling antique books. You do not want to damage them any more than they might already be damaged. On top of that, you do not want to, in any way, shape, or form, damage the book beyond what you say the damage is in the actual listing. So if you damage the book in shipping or anything like that, you possibly could get a bad review. Of course, you could probably argue that with eBay and be like, hey, it was damaged during shipping, and there's that. eBay might side with you, but you don't want to make a habit of taping your books and damaging your books as you're packaging them. So that's another reason why I like to wrap them in the butcher paper. Sometimes I even wrap them in cardboard. So there's that. And honestly, do whatever you can, make sure the books arrive safely where you send them. So here is the book all wrapped up. As you can see, it's not very exciting looking from the outside. It's just butcher paper wrapping a book, and if you don't know what it is, you might not be too excited. You'll be like, oh, it's a book. But like, if you are the person that ordered this book and you've been looking forward to this particular book, then you'll know exactly what it is and you'll be all sorts of happy. So for me, I make sure that I put the tape on the paper, not on the book, but I make sure that the tape side is on the back side of the book and the front side of the book is on the nice clear side. I put a little sticker that I print off on my Dymo printer. The link to that is on my Facebook page, which is linked in the description. So I use the Dymo printer and I use labels, and I made this cute little font which I use on all the things. I say happy reading on all of them because I think that it's something that people would like. It's a nice stylized thing, and I used this particular font because it's all swirly, sort of like how people's handwriting was back in the 1800s sort of thing, which is when a lot of the books that I'm selling are from. This book, of course, is 1965, so it's not that old, but still, it's what I like to do with my books, especially the books that are worth more money. When I have books that are worth less money or they're brand new, I might not wrap them in butcher paper. It really depends on how I feel that day, I guess. But for all of my antique books, I do wrap them in butcher paper. And as I mentioned and alluded to earlier, when I have some books and they're like really, really fragile, I will actually cut out pieces of cardboard about the size of the book, and then I will, on both sides, sandwich it in, and then I'll wrap it in butcher paper, and that way it ensures that the book doesn't get damaged in shipping. So with that said and done, I'm going to end this little part of the video, and I'm going to show you guys in a couple more pictures how I put the books into the boxes. So see you guys in that next little part. Alright, so as you can see in this picture right here, first things first, I grabbed the correct box for what I am going to be wrapping the book in. Packing the book in, sorry. So on top of that, once I grab that box and once I get it all folded up and put together, I like to lay all of my books onto a thin bed of paper. So this bed of paper in this book's case is very, very thin because the book fills almost the entire box. So once I do that, I put the book into the box. I wiggle it around, make sure that it's a good fit. This book is very snug, which I'm not too comfortable with, but it is what it is. It's not a terrible fit. It works. So once I do that, I then put another piece of paper on top to make sure there's no wiggling around at all, and then I fold it shut. So once I get it folded shut, I tape it. I like to tape it on the three sides that are open, especially if it's a more valuable book or a heavier book. So as you can see in those three pictures, those are the three places where I put it. So as you can see now, here's the book. It's all wrapped up. It's all nice and pretty. So what I have next to do is I have to weigh it, and then I have to print off the label once I get the correct weight put in. But long story short, this is exactly what you guys want to do. I'll see you guys in the next little part once I get it weighed and once I get the label put on. Alright, actually I fibbed. So I'm not going to hop on straight to putting the label on. I'm actually going to walk you guys through how to print the labels. And because I have to do that, I actually can't have my photo in the normal spot that it normally is in this bottom right hand corner. So I'm gonna move. So as you can see, here's the information. My book, I just weighed it, as you can see in the photo that I'm going to do now. So as you can see, this book weighed in the box 1 pound 15 ounces. So 15 ounces is actually 1 ounce shy of being 2 pounds exactly, which I thought was sort of cool. But because they round up, I am charging just 2 pounds for shipping. Dimensions are correct, so I'm just going to scroll on down. So buyer selected, medium mail. There are times that you cannot do where you can do something other than what the buyer selected, but I recommend not doing that. It's best to do what they selected. On the right hand side, you'll be able to see where you're shipping from and returning to, where the buyer lives, where you're shipping the book to, and when it's expected if you deliver the book that day. For me, I'm filming this on the 18th. I won't be delivering it tonight because it's nighttime. So I'm going to select tomorrow, which is when I'll drop it off. Tomorrow's Wednesday. So that should not change the price. Theoretically, it could potentially, but that's a freak accident if it does change the price. So just expect it'll probably be the same price. So just doing tomorrow. It's best to do your book sooner rather than later, but I'm going to point out that I have until January 21st. And the reason why I have until just January 21st is because I chose to say I have a 3-day delivery window to send out my books. So I'm just going to ship media mail because that's what they selected, and also because that's a lot cheaper. As you can see here, it's almost half of the other options. In fact, it's less than half of the priority mail flat rate envelope, so that's pretty cool. Additional options. Here's something that's really cool. So you can require signatures, which I have done a couple times. Not very often though, but if a buyer requests it, you can require a signature. It's $2.29. I think it's that like across the board. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to do it, but if you click it, it just checks it off. Pretty cool. You can get extra insurance on your books, which I have done in the past for a couple books. Like one of them was Time Machine. When you're sending a $1,600 book or even a few $100 book, it might be worth doing because it's nice coverage on you. So pretty cool stuff. Then you can display the postage value, add a custom text onto it, and that sort of stuff. So after that, you can print your label or do a QR code. I've never done the QR code for eBay, but I guess it works. I don't know. Haven't done it. Don't feel like doing it. And then you can select how you pay. So I'm going to blur out the bank info, but you can pay via your PayPal account or via your pending payments or via your bank. So for me, it's been automatically charging my PayPal, which I tried to make it stop doing, but it keeps on doing it. So I'm probably going to remove my PayPal from this entire account soon. Because it's not paying me to my PayPal anymore. They actually stopped doing that a short while ago, so that's been a little annoying for me, but I'm going to finally deal with it at the end of the month. So there's all of that. So once you straighten all that out, once you confirm that everything is exactly what you want it to be, just hit purchase shipping label. If you don't scroll all the way down, it'll be down in the bottom right hand corner here. So just hit that and it'll automatically carry you on over. It'll load a little bit. Sometimes it takes longer than others. I'm doing a video, so it takes a little longer. So it's got all that. It'll automatically do a pop-up in most cases of the thing once you are ready to print. So for me, it gets it. And when you're shipping off just single things, when you're not doing the bulk eBay shipping label thing, it'll have the eBay label that you will be using, your shipping label, on top, and then it'll have this cool little thing with the instructions and that sort of stuff on the bottom. I've actually been keeping the things on the bottom. Since I started, I've kept like 99% of them. I don't always get them when I'm doing my shipping, but I like to keep them because it's a nice little reminder of the books that I've been selling. So I actually have a stack like yay big over there that has all my ones, and it's fun to sometimes go back through and be like, oh yeah, I remember when I had this book and I sold it for $200. That's pretty cool. So there's all that. Once you get that, you just hit print. If it does not print correctly, you can actually download the label, print the label, that sort of stuff to do additional labels. Or if you have to send your thing in multiple boxes, which I have had to do in many, many times, you can actually do it over here. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Trying to remember how to do it. It's sort of funny because it's different like every single time it seems. So it doesn't look like I can do it here. Just let me keep looking really quick. All right, so I can't do it from this. However, I can go back to orders and I can hop onto stuff sold. Why is it not popping up? Oh, it's being mean. All right, so, oh, here we go. So hop on over to the things that I've sold. So I'm just going to go over here. And if you scroll to the beginning, you should be able to print and ship more. So print another shipping label here. That's how you're supposed to do it. And the buyer will be notified that there's multiple things for that. And if they don't understand that, then they'll probably reach out and email to you and you can straighten it out from there. So that's sort of how you do that. You can, of course, check out the other things that have to do with that. It's a really cool system and it's pretty straightforward sometimes, except for when you have to ship multiple boxes when it's just funkadoodle. It's really cool though for when you ship multiple boxes because you don't actually have to pay a whole lot of money to do it. Like if you had to just go to the if you have to go to the post office and do a whole nother thing, it's a lot of hoops to go through. So the fact that you can go through eBay and do it with eBay's discounted USPS shipping is actually a pretty cool thing. So with all that said and done, I'm going to end the screen share and I am going to go and put the label on, and I'm going to walk you guys through how I do that. Alright, so final section of this whole video. On it, it's just telling you guys how I put on the shipping label. So I've already printed it off. I have all this stuff. I put sticky notes over it because it's going to be impossible to blur it out otherwise, so you guys are welcome. So here's basically where your address is going to be. Here's where your buyer's address and name is going to be. This is all the information that you're going to have on it. It's going to have the barcode, all that sort of stuff. When I am wrapping my books, I do, when I'm putting on the label, I put a piece of tape here along the edge to make sure it doesn't get caught there, along this edge, and along this one. So nothing is going to come on and pull it off, which is totally important. I worked with UPS for a little while, and there were so many labels that just got destroyed when they were just paper labels like this. So be sure that you tape along all of the sides. Something else that I do personally, because I think it's really important and really helps, is I put one piece of tape. This piece of tape goes, when I do it across the top of the barcode. Of course, this is clear tape. Don't do it if it's not clear tape. But I do it across the barcode, and then I do it across the buyer's name. So the reason why I do that is to make sure that the people doing mail can still scan the barcode if it gets wet, and if the barcode becomes illegible, the tape part will make sure that you can still read it, and the name is also sort of important, so I make sure that that's covered as well. I don't care about my name. No one really needs to know about me if the thing gets wet, because it's not that important. So that's how I do it. I make sure everything's nice and snug. So with all that said and done, I have my package. I'm going to put it upstairs by my door, and when I go out for the day, I am going to take that package, I'm going to drop it off at the post office, and bada bing bada boom. Of course, I can actually schedule a pickup from USPS. They will actually come and pick up the books for free, which is pretty stinking cool. I have never done that because I personally like going to town. I like going around. It's just sort of my thing. That's sort of why I do all the road trips for buying books anywho. I like going around. I like seeing people. So that's just what I do. But if you're a person that doesn't like going out, and if you don't want to go to the post office, you can always do that. Full disclaimer though, you can actually drop off this book and quite a few other books. They have cool little dump boxes inside of the post office, so you can just drop them in and put them in, and it's nice and easy. You don't have to talk to anyone if you don't want to, but if you have really large boxes, you actually will have to go over into the post office, talk to people, drop off the boxes, or I go to Office Depot a lot to drop off my packages there. Long story short, there's a lot of ways, a lot of places you can drop it off, depending on who you use. If you do UPS or FedEx, that also changes where you drop off your stuff. So that's a lot of stuff to keep in mind. Long story short, though, it's up to you guys how you do it, what you do. That's basically how this entire business goes. It's like whatever you want to do, which is one of the reasons why I love the entire thing. So I hope I was able to guide you guys through how I package my books, how you should package your books, how to make sure that your books don't get damaged, all that sort of fun stuff. Of course, this is only really applies to single books. If you get a bunch of books, the packaging sort of changes, but that's probably for another video. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Please be sure to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and click the next video, which is going to be somewhere around here. So I'll see you guys then.